What's up, y'all? It's your girl Bruja for kind of coming to you all with another Orisha story. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel, y'all, because we're going to get right into this one, okay? This is yet another story involving Erinle, honey. So where did we leave off at in the last story? I told y'all about how Oshun was being a pick-me for Erinle and he had interest elsewhere, right? So remember I told y'all that he cheated he cheated on Oshun with Oba Nani, and he really started going over there trying to build a life with Oba Nani. Well, that's exactly what happened. Like, he wasn't really cheating on Oshun because they weren't together. They was just screwing at this time. Now I know y'all gonna be like, hold on, girl. Erinle and Oshun was married. Let me cook. We gonna tell that one immediately after this one, okay? So anyway, Erinle done cheated on Oshun and went and set up castle with our good sis Oba Nani, Here's the real key about the situation. Oba Nani had Ifa cast by Obatala or Orumala. I forget exactly who cast her Ifa. He basically read her life events, and he told her it was not for her to be with Erinle. Yeah, I remember Oya was told the same fucking thing about Shango, but she ignored it as well. Oba Nani was warned in totality about being with Erinle. I guess this was probably maybe a couple weeks or so into them dating, because I imagine Erinle is over here love bombing the shit out of old beautiful chocolate ass motherfucking soft girl Oba Nani. And even with Oba Nani being as beautiful as she is, she kind of had a low self-esteem. There was something about herself that she really didn't like. So, of course, Erinle being, excuse me, the narcissist that he was, or at least this version of himself that was a fucking narcissist, he kind of seeked Oba Nani out. He look for a woman with a low ass self-esteem, and unfortunately Oba Nani fit the bill. She fit exactly what he was looking for. See, he knew he could not manipulate Oshun. She was too strong for him. She would have pushed back against that shit eventually about him making her be this natural woman. And again, there's nothing wrong with natural women. Again, I have dreadlocks. I just keep my locks covered because I'm trying to make them grow, girl, because they look like little thumbs right now, okay? But I want them to grow. But anyway, there's nothing wrong with being natural. Like I said, I feel like Oshun was one of the silk press girlies, but he was trying to tear her down, and it would have been too much. It would have required too much work for him to destroy Oshun. It would have been damn near impossible anyway. So he sought out a woman like Oba Nani who wasn't comfortable in her femininity, or who didn't know who she was as a woman, or who was kind of hard-headed, but she still had some type of self-esteem issues. Like, this is what he sought out. Not only is that what he sought out, a girl who was weak-eyed, if you will. He sought out a girl who had money. Oba Nani was damn rich, honey. She was I forget who her father was, but she was the daughter of a king, and they were very, very prosperous in Europe, in Ile Ife. I almost say it in Yoruba because that's what it was, but a very prosperous, powerful, like, giving family. Like, they were the type of family that was known to help people out. They were just good people. So Erinle saw this as Oba Nani being his come up, if you will. Poor Oba Nani, on the other hand, is being blindsided by this, because a nigga ain't never brought me flowers, ain't never kissed my hand, held the door open for me. He tells me that I'm beautiful even when my hair is shrinkage, when my shrinkage is going on, or, she just allowed him to feed her all of these false narratives, only for him to turn out to be a bastard in the end. Okay, but let me get back to where I was. She had gotten Ifa done, right? And it was like, yo, I don't give a fuck how sweet this dude is being to you. This ain't your man. And Oba Nani, just like Oshun, oh no, this is my man. What do you mean? What do you mean? Let's just say she got her Ifa done by Obatala. Or whomever it was. She like, what do you mean? Like, this is my man, my man. I'm going to go ahead and marry him. And she married Erinle. And from the moment that she married him, well, let me go back. I got to go back. I have to back up because I got to tell y'all the ending of her fucking Ifa. So she rejecting the shit, but Obatala or Orumala, it would have been Orumala. It was Orumala. She's rejecting what he's saying, and he was telling her like, no, Erinle is not your husband. He's not who you're supposed to be with. You are supposed to marry Shango. And at the time, Oba Nani didn't like Shango because she knew what the nigga gave. So she like, this nigga got like, he got hoes everywhere. Why would this be the motherfucker that y'all want me to marry? And I kind of dig that because Oba Nani was big on being somebody's wife. And Erinle done proposed to her baby in 3 months. And she's like, I'm going with my nigga. Okay, so from the moment that she was with Erinle, she had the worst motherfucking karma, luck, whatever the fuck you want to name it. She lost all of her money. Like Erinle, like they lived good for a minute, but because Erinle was an alcoholic and had a gambling addiction and was just really bad with fucking money, he was blowing through all of the money because he didn't have a job. He literally was a fucking pookie. Like he was one of these woke pookie niggas that know everything about spirituality, but he can't fucking get his head screwed on right to go and get a goddamn job that can help him. Yeah, he was one of these. But somehow Oba Nani was in love with this honey. I mean, I'm talking about like 5 years into their marriage, she had his baby or whatever. Well, let me go back before I go into that. Like, let's say year 3, he had wiped all of their motherfucking money out. So they ended up living real meager. Like, she had to downgrade from, let's say, like a 6-bedroom house to like a 1-bedroom, not even a bedroom, a motherfucking studio. And in the midst of her still scrambling and scraping, trying to get money, because Erinle is still not working, but his half gay ass done spent all of the money on fruitless projects or just gave the money away because the nigga was doing that. He was out sleeping with men and shit and cheating with women, and he would be out tricking on motherfuckers, like just blowing poor Oba Nani money up. In the meantime, tearing her down as a woman. You're not good enough. You're not, just really, really giving her a bad time. That's what I'm saying. Erinle turned out to be a bastard, y'all. Okay? Like really doing dirty shit to Oba Nani. And this like wore on her self-esteem. But in the midst of this, she finds out she's fucking pregnant. And she like, well, maybe this will fix our fucking marriage. And ladies, even if you are married, okay, that's not gonna fix your marriage. Oba Nani brought that message to me personally when I was in my marriage, because I was praying to Oba Nani to end the fucking marriage if it's not what it should be. And y'all know she's the marriage patron. So if that marriage fucked up and you ready to go, you need to pray to Oba Nani and she gonna make it happen. But you need to get out the way and let it happen, okay? Because this is what you asked for and this is what you need. And she had to learn this lesson her fucking self, okay? But anyway, Erinle out here got the audacity to be broke and cheating, bisexual. And shout out to the bisexuals. I'm not going at y'all, but he was just fucked up. Used Oba Nani for everything. I'm talking about was getting loans in her name and was taking the money and spending it with different men and different women, and then would come home and tear her down. And then she got pregnant and he got to start talking about how big she was getting. Like, bitch, she's supposed to swell up. She got your children in her guts. What you mean? Anyway, Erinle starts fucking back with Oshun. And at first, Oba Nani didn't know. She just was accepting the fact that he is cheating on her. She knows that there's a myriad of women and just rumors of men. She hadn't accepted also that he was gay too. But But she would happen to catch him in some questionable positions with some young men, but she turned her head because he was putting himself or presenting himself as maybe their teacher. And I'm not saying he was laying with every young man, because Erinle was a teacher. Like, he was really smart. He had too many skills to be a fucking pookie, is basically what I'm saying. And I'm only talking about this version of him, okay? This version of Erinle was very, very twisted, if you will. But even after she had her daughter, it's like his disdain for women showed up more, and he hated women more, and nothing Oba Nani could do could please this man. So during all of this, I'm like saying maybe this was the last 2 years of their marriage, because they were only married like 5 years, but in that 5 years, Erinle had took her down through there so bad, it was like she had been married to him like 20 fucking years. So her last straw was he started staying gone, drinking, and she found out that he was going over here shacking up with Oshun. And she like, we married and you over here fucking on this bitch, and this is a ex-bitch, a bitch from your past. And the fact that she would disrespect me as a woman pisses me off in my soul. So Oba Nani goes over to, Orumala again, and she tries to get Ifa cash. She like, what can I do to make Oshun leave my husband alone? And Orumala told her, nothing. You were already warned years ago that this was not your husband. So all of this suffering that you going through, all of these Ileas that you have visiting you, they are self-brought. You've already been told that you were not supposed to marry Erinle, and you went on and did the shit anyway. So the only thing you can do, my good sis, is leave this marriage. And she like, yeah, I hear you, but how can I stop Oshun? You can't stop Oshun, because guess what? He's supposed to be married to Oshun. And this broke Oba Nani's heart. So she gathered her little self and she went home. And upon going home, she noticed when she got back there, Erinle had already packed up and left. And, over a few weeks after he left her home and, abandoned her and her daughter, she started hearing the whispers that he, had moved on in with Oshun and they were planning to get married. At that moment, that's when Oba Nani realized, let me get up and go home, because she was really suffering bad. She had nothing. Like, she was fucked up because she had given every fucking thing to Erinle's motherfucking ass, and he dares abandon her and her child. So she like, you know what? Orumala did tell my ass that I was supposed to be married to Shango. So let me reach out to my father. So she petitions Eshu and asks Eshu to get a message to her father that she needs to come home. And her daddy sent his chariots and shit to come get her, honey. Like, go get my goddamn daughter. First of all, she wasn't supposed to be with this motherfucker anyway. But instead of taking her to her father's house, they took her directly to Shango, because Shango was waiting for her. He had heard the whispers about how Erinle was mishandling this woman that he knew was supposed to be his wife, but Shango was no better. I want to point that out, and I'm not shitting on Shango, but I'm going to say in this moment, he needed to be the escape route for Oba Nani, because I can't even put no magical end on it, y'all, because Shango ended up cheating on Oba with Oshun too, and y'all was still around, during the time when she was delivered to Shango's castle like a fucking Amazon package. Like, they just fucked me up with that shit. Like, these women were getting passed the fuck around, honey. But she went on and went with Shango and shit. Never went to her daddy's house, honey. They pulled right up at Shango's motherfucking castle, and he waiting by the door like, I was waiting for you. But we'll talk about Oba and Shango later. Let's talk about Oshun and Erinle.
Bye.